Hello everybody, GCS here. Today I'm going to be going over one of my favorite themes currently running, and that is of course the Monkie Kid lineup. This is the theme that I honestly wasn't overly interested in upon its initial release, though my friend Kevlar Mox showed me some of the sets in person and I've gotta say, they were worth the buy. Since then, I've been able to purchase 4 of these sets, which I would love to show with you guys here today. This is less of a review as much as it is a casual kind of overview of these sets, just showing my appreciation for this theme. The 4 sets I'll be going over today are the Monkie Kid Combi Mech, Maze Dragon Jet, Maze Dragon Car, and the Monkie Kid Cloud Jet. The first Monkie Kid set I ever bought was Maze Dragon Car, as it was on sale in the November of 2022. It's a pretty sleek car build with some sleek detailing and a nice dragon head at the front. There also is a cool play feature where if you press on the dragon's head, it launches a bit of an energy blast towards the opponents. The color scheme on the main dragon build consists of teal, white, trans bright green, and neon yellow. All of this goes together quite nicely except for the neon yellow. Neon yellow is personally one of my least favorite LEGO colors, and I do not like how much it has been showing up in many sets, particularly in the city line. In this vehicle, it seems very out of place, and I am not a fan. Otherwise, the color scheme is pretty inoffensive and looks really slick. The enemies in this set are, of course, these evil monkeys, which are quite interesting figures. I really like the detail on them, and I will do a full minifigure overview towards the end of the video, kind of showcasing them a little bit more. These guys in this set have a nice little bike build, which has got like a Sons of Garmadon from Ninjago kind of vibe to it. I'm a very big fan of this little side build, and I'd argue it complements the set excellently. The most recent Monkie Kid set I got was the Monkie Kid Cloud Jet, and I would argue that this one is my favorite. It is easily the most playable out of any of them, and arguably the most visually interesting. The set has these twin turbines that add a very interesting look to the set, and additionally, it breaks off into 2 separate vehicles that you can simply activate with this lever here. Moving towards the back of the ship, you can see that there are 2 of the LEGO fishing rod pieces used as kind of antenna, which I would argue is a very interesting part usage. I also really like the little fan looking things up top, and the way the tail kind of tapers out creates kind of a nice handle to play with. Overall, it is a very swooshable ship. A smaller build within this set is of course Monkie Kid's motorcycle. This part itself is pretty neat, although I'd argue it looks a little incomplete with some bare studs towards the back. Otherwise though, it has some really cool stickers with this no cow kind of looking sticker and the Monkie Kid sticker on the other side. The racing stripes throughout the build, both on the motorcycle and on the Cloud Jet itself, add a really nice effect, and I quite like them. The last side build in this set is a jetpack for Red Sun. Overall, this element is pretty cool and utilizes some nice trans neon orange, which is sadly discontinued. Overall, it's a very pleasant little side build that complements the larger set pretty well. The next set I'll be going over is Maze Dragon Jet. This set is kind of part of a 2-part release, along with the Monkie Kid Combi Mech, as these 2 sets do combine into one model. I'll go over that later after I review them both, but starting off with this one, it is a nice triangular aircraft-based vehicle with a more consistent color scheme than the previous Maze Dragon Car. This one of course omits that neon yellow, which I so heavily despise. Towards the back of this set, there's kind of like some daggers and stuff, and there's actually a small element that you can pull apart. The idea of this is kind of like an escape pod or a smaller vehicle that can use to fight the villains in a smaller or closer combat environment. There's also some really nice stickers along the wings of this build, and I quite like the translucent sword piece used. Over with the villains, they have a small little cannon build, as well as a barrel. The cannon build itself is pretty neat, and I like the build technique using those slopes on the sides. It's pretty simple, but overall it achieves the look that it's going for. Overall, this set's a pretty solid one, and I would definitely recommend it. The final set I'll go over today is Monkie Kid's Combi Mech. Before going into detail, I will preface this by saying I am missing a small side build that came with this set. I don't know what happened to it. It's kind of small and very forgettable. Overall, not really a worthwhile inclusion, so let's focus on the mech. This mech is a combination of some amazing parts all put together in one very uniquely designed mock. I love how it uses the front of a car as the kind of shoulder armor, and the sticker utilized on that makes it look really neat and kind of mechanical. Towards the front, we have the use of a car fender as well, and then a stickered element on top of that showing kind of a control panel. The legs of this set are held on by a ball and socket joint, which I would argue is the best form of articulation LEGO's got, particularly in this specific size. The knees are a double ratcheted joint, which I think works really good for supporting it, and you can get it into some rather dynamic poses because of that. The mech itself has a color scheme of Keat orange, teal, and bright red, ultimately making a pretty balanced look, similar to the Monkie Kid Cloud Jet. I honestly like this color scheme a lot more than May's color scheme, particularly from the Dragon car, and it works really good to Monkie Kid's benefit. The back of this model is a little less aesthetically pleasing, with some random clips on the side that seemingly don't serve a purpose. These, of course, are going to be used for the combination effect between this set and May's Dragon Jet. To combine the two models, it is a fairly simple process. The only thing that requires some modification is May's Dragon Jet, which you have to lift this bottom compartment off of, and then lower the back end kind of backwards like a jetpack. After that, you just take the two bars on the Cloud Jet, and then place them against the clips on Monkie Kid's mech, and throw this kind of down as a shield. This combination as a whole is kind of underwhelming in my opinion, and just makes it look like the Monkie Kid mech is wearing some weird cape. Overall, I would certainly argue that the kind of aesthetic detriment to the back of the Monkie Kid mech is not worth this combination model, in a very similar way to the 2008 Bionicle Toa Mystica and how they attached to the Matoran sets. Overall, not really worth it, but the two sets still do stand well on their own. Now onto the figures. It's only fitting that I start with Monkie Kid himself. This minifigure is highly detailed, with a Keat orange vest with lots of different badges and trinkets on it. Towards his back, there's a bit of a little holster for his staff, and he's got some nice arm printing as well, with a little target on the one side. His bandana on his head is a really nice piece. It's a dual molded part, and I quite like the little gold detailing there as well. As a whole, this figure is a really nice one, and potentially my favorite variant of Monkie Kid himself. The next figure I have is kind of the opposite direction, as this is actually my least favorite variant of May. That being said, there is some excellent printing on her back as well on the front of her torso. She doesn't have arm printing, which does make her a little less exciting in comparison to some other variants of the character, as well as some other characters within the line. However, I like the white dragon sword hilt she has, and her hairpiece is pretty neat. The main problem I have with this figure is, of course, that neon yellow torso. Doesn't really fit with the figure's vibe, and overall, just an unpleasant color in my opinion. Next up, we have the two Monkey Warriors included in May's Dragon car. These are excellent figures with some really cool armor that I believe was first introduced in some LEGO Movie 2 sets. They also have some excellent back printing, and I believe a brand new tailpiece utilized there. Their arms are red, and their faces kind of remind me of Darth Maul from Star Wars. This version of Monkie Kid is a nice deviation from the original we saw earlier. It has side leg printing in the place of the printed arms, and also has his headphones around his neck. It's a pretty solid variant of the figure, though I do still prefer the one showcased earlier. The only other protagonist or hero figure in the Monkie Kid Cloud Jet is I, or AI, or something like that. Not certain what the pronunciation is on this one. She's just a civilian, so nothing too complex. I like the little purse piece she comes with, and the torso printing is pretty solid, with some minor printing details on the back. Overall, not a figure to write home about, but a reasonable inclusion nonetheless. Red Sun is the primary antagonist figure in Monkie Kid's Cloud Jet. This figure is pretty solid with some neat little weapons and some really nice printing on both the back and the front. The skirt piece towards the bottom is another welcome addition, and I really like the orange detail on that unique hairpiece. As a whole, pretty solid figure, and definitely the most noteworthy of the villains I'll be going over today. The secondary antagonist in the Monkie Kid Cloud Jet is this Bull Soldier character. This is a character that showed up a lot in that first wave of Monkie Kid sets, and I really like it. The mechanical bull look is a really cool one, and I love the kind of mechanic detailing on the torso. The helmet is a really unique mold, and I like the little horn pieces that it comes with as well. This one in particular bears a flamethrower in order to correspond with the other villain in the set, and I think it's a pretty cool weapon for a pretty cool figure. Moving on to the figures from May's Dragon Jet, we're going to start off with May herself. This is a variant of the figure that I absolutely love. It fixes the problems from the other variant of May I showcased earlier, that being the color scheme, and gave her a bit of a white jumpsuit look. The dragon printing on the front of this is absolutely awesome, and I really like the armor piece as well, as that adds some nice character to it. Overall, an excellent figure, and definitely worth it. The next figure is the Ink General, kind of the leader of the Ink bad guys, I suppose. This character is pretty neat with a primary black color scheme, and utilizes that ghost piece first seen in Ninjago. The gold printing on the torso is really nice, but I'll admit as a whole this character comes off as kind of a basic villain mold. What brings him kind of above and beyond is the armor piece, the little hair, and the ghost piece. This minifigure shares all of the disadvantages the Ink General has, while unfortunately reaping none of the benefits, just having plain black legs. I will say I do like the hairpiece utilized on this figure, as it is a little bit more unique, I believe only showing up in the Monkey Kid theme. Nonetheless, this figure is rather lackluster, and I would not recommend seeking it out unless you are buying it in a set. Monkey Kid's Combi Mech only comes with one figure exclusive to it, and that, of course, is this variant of Monkey Kid. This variant is kind of like a boosted looking version, and I really love the printing all around, be it on the arms, the back, and the front of the torso. He has the same bandana as the other variants of Monkey Kid, though with a unique face print having a bit of a red visor, which is a really cool look. As a whole, this figure is really nice, though I will say I do prefer the original variant shown in May's Dragon Car. As a whole, the Monkey Kid theme is one that I have grown to love over the past few months. It has some of the most well-detailed and visually pleasing sets I have seen from LEGO in quite some time. All for relatively good prices, although the threshold to get into the theme is mostly pretty high. If you're interested in the theme but aren't certain, I'd highly recommend you purchase either the Combi Mech or May's Dragon Jet, as they are both excellent starter or introduction sets into the theme. If you have a little more money you're willing to throw around, the Cloud Jet is currently on sale on Amazon and is a very worthwhile purchase. It has loads of playability and some very, very nice figures. This theme as a whole is one that has just continued to blow me away, and I am excited to see what they keep coming out with as time goes on. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and have an excellent day.